Hello, Svetoslava, and thank you for the invitation and thanks for having me on the platform. My name is Georgi Kolev. Currently, I have the privilege and I'm so excited and honored to serve as a therapeutic lead at Digiburn, which is a digital therapeutic tool and a platform for therapeutically address the burnout syndrome. Which will be currently developing, will continuously be developing in this year, also as a business tool, as a therapeutic tool, and also as an organizational tool.
This is so much needed. A really cool project that you have guys started, and congratulations. I'm glad that we are partnering and that we are having you now with us for this interview. What is your personal and professional experience with burnout, Georgi?
I'll start with the personal first and then translate to the professional because chronologically that was the case with me. So personal, I have even managed to overachieve even in burnout setting, because I have the privilege to experience burnout twice, even at the relatively early stage in my career. Actually, the first time was my last year in high school with my finals, and then due to overreacting and over-attaching importance to them, I was able to overlearn and beautifully burn out. The second time was because I didn't learn my lesson the first time, apparently. Again, I have the privilege to do so, but this time with my finals in my university. Again, over-attaching hyper importance to them and overreacting on that sense. And the second time around was really intense and a lot more harder than the first one, resulting in my recovery process of probably 3 to 5 months actually after the second one. So as a personal experience, this was it, but I was able to be at one point aware enough, on the one hand aware enough, and on the other hand humbled enough to use it as invitation for growth rather than experienced as a traumatic event. And on that note, integrate it and utilize it in my personal development and also growing as an individual. And I was although I tried to synthesize it here, but it's easier said than done. So it sounds easier in words, but as I've mentioned, it took me months end to end in order to be able to have this, again, awareness and humility and also courage to integrate it. And on that note, then resulting to the profession, moving to the professional side, because I have experienced it firsthand, and it is really difficult. It is tough. Involves a lot of pain, both emotionally, physically, even, and it's quite challenging. I wanted to be of service, of help to others going the same route. So that provoked my professional interest in the topic, and also researching the symptoms, the mechanisms in which it starts, and really get familiar to the whole, not only the concept, but also the structure that it works and works itself out, and also what measures, what tricks, or what instruments, actually not tricks, but what instruments are available in order to be more effective at helping, because caring is not enough, although it's the base of the contribution and the therapeutic effect. Caring itself will not be sufficient, so you need tools and instruments professionally designed and tested in order to be of service to someone.
From what you have learned, I hope that you have now all the lessons learned and you won't go down that road for third time professionally already. But do you see some similarities between the first signs of burnout in university or late at school, so while still studying, and professionals who you witness as professional going to burnout?
That's a really good question. As I think of it, yes. there were a lot of close similarities, although there were few nuances. But again, the fundamental mechanism was the same because it was due to the my, let's put it, I don't want to get too technical here, but due to limiting beliefs, maybe our audience is familiar with the term, but this is belief that limits your perception or distorting your perception to a subject, usually based on either trauma or past traumatic experiences or fear, and then resulting in behaviors that are not optimal or not in your self-best interest, in order to serve as a compensation to this fear or to this traumatic event. And although it's to some extent well intended in order to protect you, in the longer term it serves the counter purpose, because we're using it, at least in my case, I was using it to overcompensate. And that's resulted in even worsening the same thing I was running away from, actually resulted in and expressed itself in its full capacity. So that was really the basic core similarity between them. And then also in terms of more observable symptoms, it was or signals, usually it's more accurate word here, that my body gave me was exactly the same in terms of exhaustion, both mentally and physically, emotional impairment in some sort, that I was overreacting to different stimulus, cognitive impairment in terms of was having difficulties to concentrate, to focus my attention, or even in short-term memories, I was easily forgetting stuff and so forth. And this also resulted in some form of mental distancing from it in the more later stages, when it progressed. Mental distancing, and also in the sense of I was getting a bit more arrogant, didn't have the same concern of feelings for others. It's presenting itself through a more uglier side or uglier expression of behavior. I'm labeling them as ugly because they are not. They're provocative and useful if we have the same awareness to why they express themselves. But if they're isolated from the context, they look tend to look aggressive or immature or weak. But it's actually serving a higher purpose here to point our attention to the problem. So that was the on the course, on the surface level there were similarities, but a few nuances, but on the core level was exactly the same both times, at least for me.